And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Camel Up Cards. Now, Camel Up was a Spiel des Jahres winner, very controversial one too, because that was the year that Splendor was there. Many people thought Splendor, I thought, that should beat this. In fact, we thought a lot of games should beat it. Everyone was kind of surprised when Camel Up was the winner. But I played Camel Up, and it was a fun game. It's a betting game where there's dice for the camels and kind of a weird pyramid where you're going to press a button and a die will pop out. It's kind of a neat concept, and it was a fun betting game, but very light because you had pretty much very little control. Well, this tries to take that game and put it into a card game and give you a slight bit of control over it. Let's look. So you have here 5 camels. These camels are, there's 5 different color camels, and they're going to be racing down this track that goes to space 17. There's going to be several legs of the race until finally one or more camels is going to cross the finish line. There's extra spaces for the track that will be added at the end of a leg. If any camel is pretty close to the finish line, you'll add some more spaces just to make the leg, I guess, more exciting. Now what you're doing here is you are not any of these camels. Instead, you are going to be betting on them. And so for each leg of the race, players are going to be building a deck. Now this deck has cards for all the camels, +1s and +2s for the different color camels. That's basically it. So you then are going to look at a card that shows how many players are in the game. So this is a 5-player card. So first, everyone gets 6 cards dealt to them in the 5-player game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great. Then I'm going to look at these cards and get rid of 3 of them. I want the white and the blue camels to do poorly, so I'm going to throw those out. Of the 3 left over, I'm going to pick one of them and put it in a deck. So I'm going to put that in a deck, and other people are also putting cards in a deck. Then of the 2 left over, I'm going to show everybody one. All right, orange. And I put that in a deck, and then I'll keep the last one in my hand. And so it's going to be a little bit different, but that's essentially how it works. No matter how many players there are in the game, you're going to be discarding some, putting some in the deck, and keeping one in your hand. This deck then, after everyone's put cards into it, is going to be shuffled, and then one player goes first, and you're just going to go around the table. Now, on your turn, and after the first thing, whoever has the least money, players are going to have money in front of them. It's this card here, so they can show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then they can take a 9 or a 10 card and then add this again. It's kind of a weird way to do money, but that's how that works. So on your turn, you must do 1 race action, and you may do 1 betting action. You can do the betting action before or after you do the race action. Let's talk about the race action. The first thing you can do is you can put one of these on the track. I can put this on the track. I can put the fox on the track if I want to. If I do so, I am taking one of these cards. Taking these cards is going to cost me money at the end of the race, but it's going to hurt or help the camels who move. So I can do that if I want to. I can also play the card from my hand if I want to as my action. So let's say I play this one, green would move forward 1. Or I can play the card from the track here. So here blue moves forward 1. Now after the first space, when blue moves forward 1, it's going to piggyback on top of green. Then yellow moves forward 1, so yellow goes on top of the blue. Then white goes forward 1. I'm just showing you if all the cards were played in order. And then the next one, orange goes forward 1. There's this giant stack of camels. Now orange goes forward 2, so orange would jump off that stack and go forward. White goes forward 1, so white goes on top of orange there. Yellow goes forward 1, so yellow moves on top of the white one here. Orange goes forward 1, and orange is going to carry both camels that are on top of him. So whenever there's camels on top of you, they'll go with you. Orange goes forward 1 again and moves up here. Yellow goes forward 1, so jumps off, having the benefit of orange moving along, and yellow goes forward 1 again. If a camel lands in a spot with a palm tree, they will immediately go 1 space forward. If they land in a spot with the fox or the fennel, they'll immediately go 1 space back. So you can see how you never know for sure which person's going to go the farthest, and knowing when to play the card from your hand is going to help. Now this all has to do with betting. So how is the betting going to work? Well, each camel has some cards that you're going to bet on. You're going to bet on whether they're going to win, what position they'll be in at the end of a leg. So here I can bid that this camel is going to be in first or second place at the end of a leg, the blue one. If he's in first place, I'll get 5 coins. If he's in second place, I'll get 1. If he's in third, fourth, or fifth, I lose a coin. Or I can bet that he'll be in the middle. He'll get 2. But if he's in the second or fourth place, he'll get 1. And if he's in first or last place, I will lose 1. So you can take these. These go down in value as players take them, but you can take one of these as a betting action, and you can have multiples. These you can take per race. This I'm saying on the whole race, the blue camel is going to be first or going to be last. He'll get some points for being second, but he'll lose if he's in third, fourth, or fifth. He'll get some points for being second last or lose a point for being first, second, or third. You can only have one of each type, so I can only take one winner and one loser card, but those will be determined at the end of each race. So at the end of each leg, you're going to look at these cards and take or lose money, and then you do this whole shuffling the card deck and start another round until one camel crosses the finish line, and then that camel is declared the winner. And it's at the end of a leg, though, so you might have to see who goes the farthest. But anyway, that camel's the winner. Everyone adds up their money, and it doesn't matter which camel won. It matters who has the most money. That player is the winner. Now, it may not be fair, but this is one of those games where the whole time you're playing it, you are constantly going to compare it to the board game if you played the board game. And I have played the board game, and I'm constantly comparing. And this is just a pale shadow, really, for the board game. First of all, I'm not opposed to card games, right? I am not so much of a fan of card games that have this much space all over the table, using everything all over the place. That's a ton of setup for what should be just a quick card game. And once it's all set up and all over the table, you're like, wait a minute, is this taking up as much space as the board game? And then doing wonky things like the money, moving 1 through 8 and then 9 and 10 cards. That's just weird. I mean, it's not terrible, but just weird. And all these cards for the different camels, they're not quite so easy to tell apart at a glance. I can't tell if you want that camel to win or lose. Probably you want it to win. And then this whole card building the deck thing, it's just kind of convoluted. All right, everyone draw 6. All right, now get rid of 3. Now everyone pick one and put it in the deck. Now everyone show one of the 2 cards to everyone else and put that in the deck. You remember what cards you just saw everyone put in the deck? Now you keep 1 card. So the game's not horrible. I mean, it's a fine game, and you have to sit there, and because as soon as one draws the last card from the deck, the leg is over. So you're like, well, I haven't played this yet. Well, too bad. You need to play this before the leg is over. So there's a little bit of that. But really, other than that, you don't know what people put in the deck. There's some, okay, I saw him take an orange card to win. I better take an orange card too, because I didn't put any, I put some orange cards in there. Orange might just do well. And then there's luck, because there might be several orange cards, but blue has been riding orange the whole time he's been moving and then moves ahead of him and pulls it off. And that's the fun part of the game. But what made Camel Up cool, besides that fun part, was also it had this neat dice tower, not dice tower, but dice pyramid type thing. Well, that's been completely removed. They're using this deck of cards instead, and it's just not as good. You say, but Vasel, this one's portable. It is, right? I can carry this around, and it's smaller than the Camel Up game. But Camel Up was not that amazing of a game to begin with. It was fun. So I'm shrinking it down, taking up as much table space. So I'm only really saving trouble transporting it. And then I got to sort out the cards each time. And nah, just get the original Camel Up. That's my opinion. This isn't horrible. It's mediocre. There's some fun to it. But I think explaining to people, here's how you do the cards and all that, doesn't make up then for the fact that the gameplay is very basic. Nice artwork, nice idea, stick with the regular game. Dice Tower Judgment, it's fun, but a little too convoluted, and just get the board game.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.